So Hannah Montana. So you worked with Miley?
Yeah, well, I was the co-creator of Hannah Montana.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
That was my show, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I worked with Miley, and Miley's still like a completely sweet, really nice person. All the stuff about Miley in the last 10 years where like people thought, oh, she's losing her mind, or she's doing all the twerking, or she's doing this, or she's what's the matter with her, and no, it's all calculated.
It is.
Because she did an extremely smart thing, which was she was, Disney's biggest star, which has an up and a big downside to it.
Yeah.
And as soon as she got released from the show, she decided to get out from under the Disney thumb.
Yeah.
And so she did all of these things that were opposite anything Hannah Montana would do.
Interesting.
And it worked.
Yeah.
But Miley is a sweetheart. If you saw her, or she was walking by, I'd say, Miley, come on in. She'd sit and hang with us.
Is that right?
Oh, she's a sweetheart. And her dad, Billy Ray, he's the nicest guy. The only time I was ever late to be on stage when I was supposed to be back from lunch is because he kind of cornered me, took me and put me in his car and played his new album for me, and I just couldn't.
Is
he
that
said,
right?
no, you have to hear the next song. But only because he was a super nice guy.
Huh.
Billy is a super, super nice guy.
So was that show written for Miley, or did you cast for that?
No, it wasn't written for Miley.
It wasn't.
No, the idea of Hannah Montana was a young girl who's kind of this unbelievably huge rock star, kind of by night, and by day a high school student that nobody knew her identity.
Yeah.
So it was the epitome of the high school girl's fantasy. That's how the show was sold. And so we didn't. I wasn't involved in the early casting of it so much, but they looked at 300 girls. Emily Osment, who ended up playing Lily, actually was the forerunner, but they couldn't find a person to play Hannah. And what happened was they had the Sprouse twins, Dylan and Cole Sprouse, who were Zach and Cody, and a group of triplet girls under contract. And Disney, I don't want to say nasty things about Disney, but they're a company that's not going to spend one dime unless they get something for it.
I see.
And the year of the pilot of Hannah Montana, they shelved the pilot, and they did a pilot called Triple Play with the three girls, and they did Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and that's the one that sold. But when they shelved the pilot, it was for two reasons. They had other kids under contract that they had to use, and they couldn't find the girl. They looked and looked and looked and couldn't find the girl. Miley came in and read. She was like 12 years old, very scrawny, not a great actress, pretty good singer.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, somebody else, let's see some more people. And we thought that's the end of that.
Yeah.
We had written the pilot, the first and second draft of it, I and a guy named Barry O'Brien.
Okay.
And Barry I knew from the Miller Boyette days. But we thought, okay, well, that's the end of it. And then it came back a year later, and they said, we're going to do it. We're still going to do Hannah Montana. And then they went looking for people again, and Miley came in again. She was more mature. She looked a little better. Her acting
So it's a couple years later now.
Yeah,
huh?
But the thing is, one of the strange things that happened was, just on a whim, Billy Ray came in and read with her as her father. And she was more comfortable and seemed at ease, and everyone said, why don't we just hire him?
So much chemistry.
Not only that, hire him as the father because we'll get the country western people to watch. So he was as much of it as she was.
Of course.
And then, she needed some help with acting, but she was really appealing. The reason that Hannah Montana took off is because Miley took off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, period.
Perfect person to cast for that
Yeah,
role.
I mean, it's like Happy Days. I mean, Happy Days was a monster hit because Henry was Fonzie.
He was.
And Mork and Mindy had been on the air for 3 shows, and it was the #1 show in the country, and no pilot. They always made pilots of things.
Is that right?
But Robin had been on Happy Days, and they saw him on Happy Days. He literally took over.
And just one episode, and that's it.
One
Who
episode.
is this guy?
So
right?
they made no pilot. But that show became #1 in 3 weeks, and Mork was because of Robin. Happy Days was because of Henry, and Hannah Montana was because of Miley.